Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Project Cars video. So it's going to be very similar to the last one. It's just me kind of driving around a track and just talking about the car. And oops, looks like the pit entrance didn't exactly nail that. I'm not sure if that was AI controlled or if that was me, but it looks like there was a small amount of contact here. As you can see, we are in an Audi. This is the Audi R8 V10. V10 Plus. I'm sorry, the plus means it's better. It's an Audi R8 V10 Plus. We're at Spa, as I'm sure you can tell, as we just went through a Rouge, sort of. Not exactly nailing that. So just like with the previous video, this is literally me just coming out of the garage, driving this car for the first time ever at this track. First time ever. I have driven this track in other cars, though, in this game, I should mention. But, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Then those curves are pretty brutal at the inside there. I don't have a map up of the corner names, so I completely forget what that one is. At the end of the Kemmel Straight. Yep, I'm not going to remember. And I'm going completely wide through this downhill right-hander here. No downforce in this car. This is very much a... I guess you could call it a supercar. It is V10. You know, it's no joke here. I guess it's kind of like a Ferrari, but not like a Ferrari FXX or anything like that. It's I don't think it has downforce or anything like that. It's not like a McLaren or anything. It's more. I don't know. I'm struggling to find another, like the Mercedes AMG, the SL63 or whatever, with the gull wing doors. I guess it's kind of like that car. Maybe a little bit heavier with a little bit more power, though. You can see there is quite a bit of body roll in this car, almost like it's a road car, and it is a road car. You know, this is a street legal car. As you can tell from the interior, it's got that very nice sort of LCD screen. That would be interesting if you could actually put stuff on that. I wonder if any games... And I've gone completely wide at Curve Paul Frere and nearly hit that barrier. And thankfully, this is not a Assetto Corsa. There is no penalty system as far as running wide. You do get your lap times invalidated, obviously. I mean, that is a very suitable penalty. And you can see I'm braking for Lake Home? No, Lake Home is the one at the end of the Kemmel Straight. What is that? I'm not going to remember. Anyway, coming into the bus stop chicane now. You can see very slowly, very, very cautiously. You do have to brake really early in this car, but I am struggling to find my braking points in these conditions. You can see it is currently raining. It's not just wet, it is raining at the moment. So there's not loads of grip. But one thing I have noticed in this game, though, is that there's a lot of grip in the wet. There's quite a bit of grip in the wet, and I mean, I think I'm on like all-weather tires, sort of all-weather sports tires, comparable to like the intermediates in F1, which have a good amount of grip no matter what the scenario is, you know, unless there's like rivers of standing water, of course. But I don't know if you can get that type of thing in Project Cars. I don't know if you can flood a track to that level. So I think basically the cars are just on intermediate tires all the time. I might be wrong about that. If anybody wants to correct me on that one, actually, please do so. So yeah, I do believe this is Lake Home that we're coming in through now. But yeah, this car was a good amount of fun. I do enjoy cars that are like this. You kind of have to like turn in early. There's a good amount of understeer. Obviously, there's no front end downforce. I don't think there's any rear end downforce on this car either. I could be mistaken about that, though. But there's definitely no front end downforce. So you could see, yeah, I was a little cautious through that one, so that was kind of a bad example. But a lot of times when I'm turning in pretty early, just anticipating that mid-corner understeer that I'm going to get. Not so much through Pouan here. I'm trying to get a nice run through there. I think I went wide through Pouan last time around. You can really see the fog. I love the fog effects in this game. It really adds another level to the driving difficulty. You really have to pay attention a little bit more, especially when other cars are on track. Obviously, there's no other cars on track right now. This is just a practice session. But I have done races in this game where it was foggy, as I understeered heavily there through that that last corner there. And you can see there that you can see the car is actually pointing like to the inside of the track. It's pointing like I'm trying to go off the track, and that's because of the understeer. Because I'm not actually going where the nose is pointing. You can see it right there again, where the car is not going where the nose is pointed. And that's the understeer. So really tricky now. Heavy fog coming into the bus stop chicane. You can't even see the apex. There it is. Sorry, I'm watching on a preview screen as with last time, so you guys might have been able to see it a little bit before I did, but very difficult spotting the apexes, so you really have to know your braking points in these type of conditions, and with no practice and just kind of puttering around on track for fun, it's kind of a totally different experience. Going through La Source now, and you can see understeer coming off the apex there, which meant I couldn't get onto the throttle as early as I wanted to. Trying to get as close to the old pits there as I can, and then you have to brake. Oh, and yeah, am I gonna make it? No, I am not gonna make it. I just went ahead and cut the course right there because, of course, again, no stupid penalty system. So again, the lap time is invalidated, which is a very suitable penalty for doing such a thing like that. But I don't need to have my speed reduced to 50 kilometers per hour for 5 seconds as a result of it. It's really not necessary. But yeah, I guess I should talk a little bit more about the game. I've really enjoyed the time that I've had with Project Cars. I'm really looking forward to the full release. I'm definitely going to be pre-ordering it. Just to kind of give you guys a heads up, I know a lot of people actually don't watch these Project Cars videos. They're really just not interested in seeing non-F1 cars and whatnot. But for you guys that do watch these, I am considering starting a league of sorts. I think it would be contained within PRL is what I'm thinking. So it would technically be a PRL league. But I'm thinking about a casual league with no points. First of all, you don't score points in the races. So calling it, to call it a league is very literal. It's not a championship at all. It is just a league of drivers, a league of extraordinary gentlemen to race each other each week with no pressure. There should be talking during the races, not loads of talking. You don't want to be annoying to other people and stuff, but I'd like to have something that's a little bit more relaxed. I don't want people practicing for hours on end each week in preparation for the race. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about doing maybe just like a random league where each week, maybe 2 hours before the race, an hour before the race, I'll just roll a virtual die, basically, roll some virtual dice to determine not just what track we're going to race at that week, but also what car we're going to race with that week. The variety of cars in Project Cars is absolutely fantastic. Yes, there's a lot of cars, but there's not just a lot of cars, there's a lot of different cars as well. There's a lot of similar cars as well, possibly. I'm thinking about maybe doing some multi-class stuff as well, potentially, but that would really depend on how many people are interested in joining this league and how many butts we could put in the seats, so to speak. If we can get enough people for it, then we can probably run a couple of classes. 2 different types of cars each week, and then maybe people could pick which of those 2 cars they like better, and they can run in that class. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe like the winners of the previous week. The top half all get first crack at what car they want for next week out of the 2 that are available. I'm literally just speaking off the top of my head at this point. But that's something I really think would be a lot of fun. Again, practice would be limited, only 1 or 2 hours just before the race. The car and track would be random. I would randomly select them using some sort of computer program, or just whatever, just before the race, and then so I would have no previous knowledge of it. I wouldn't want to go into it with more experience than anyone else or anything like that. Yeah, and just you know, probably do random grids as well. Maybe no qualifying, just have people start from random positions. You know, and just have people deal with it. Just, you know, if you're fast and you're starting from the back, be careful while you're passing people. That's, you know, end of story. I'm not, you know, because there's no points, because there's no championship on the line, there wouldn't be any sort of stewards inquiries per se. The only stewards inquiries would be to get somebody removed from the league entirely, basically. You know, maybe like a 3-strike system. Like, you know, you've been warned twice now. If you do one more thing, you know, you're just gone. That sort of thing. So yeah, hopefully that's something that we can maybe do. Project Cars is great like that. You know, the physics aren't quite as good as Assetto Corsa. Everybody knows that at this point. It's definitely not as good as R Factor 2. It's not as good as iRacing. It's just, you know, it's not on that level. So what it has is variety. It's got that variety there. It's got a ton of different cars, a ton of different tracks, a ton of different layouts for those tracks. You know, it's got a lot of potential. For a league such as the one that I'm talking about, which is kind of you know, is all over the place and all about fun. So I will talk more about that in the future, but it's something I just wanted to let you guys know about, because that's kind of the direction I would like to head with my personal racing. Obviously, I like doing commentary for the AOR League races. You know, I love doing commentary for the hardcore league stuff. But I'm just not a hardcore league driver anymore. That's just I'm just too tired, too busy. I don't have time to be practicing 5 hours a week for a race that lasts 45 minutes, which I might crash out on lap 1. So I would really like to go just a little bit more casual with it. Obviously, I'm not the fastest guy. I'm never the fastest guy, in fact. Never am I the fastest guy. I've won some races in my life in various sims and racing games and stuff like that. I've beaten Miko plenty of times in F1 games, but he is definitely naturally faster than me. You know, a lot of people are just naturally faster than me. I really just enjoy racing. Just racing. That's really what I enjoy. I like going side by side with people that I know that I can trust, and who I know aren't going to, you know, just shove me out of the way because they're trying to get 2 more points in the championship. So hopefully that's something I could get some people interested in. I might try asking, like, Yorkie, for example. He might be interested in something like that. You know, with no points, you're free to kind of come and go as you please. You know, you don't have to show up for every race, and you know, you don't, it's not like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm gonna lose my championship position if I don't show up for this race that I hate, or, you know, I have to cancel life appointments so that I can make this league race so that I can stay in the championship hunt and that sort of thing. That's not what I'm looking for. So getting back onto the gameplay on screen, though, the track has definitely dried up quite a bit. You can see it's a little bit faster right now. I'm definitely hitting my apexes a little bit better. I'm a little bit more comfortable with the car, a little bit more comfortable with the track. Very nicely through Curve Paul Ferrer there, coming down the back straight and approaching 140 miles an hour. You do need to brake for this left-hand kink, and I'm actually going to look up the corner name because yeah, I feel bad not knowing that one. It's going to be one of those things where, yeah, Blanchimont, of course, duh. Come on, Justin, get it together. Sorry, guys. So yeah, Blanchimont there. You do have to brake in this car for that corner. Very important to brake through there. But yeah, the game is a lot of fun. It's definitely more casual. It's more of an arcade type of game. You know, it's more. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. It's sort of in between console racing games like Gran Turismo and Forza and PC sim racing games. It's kind of breaching that bridge, or building that bridge between console and PC. And from what I understand, the console versions are going to have the exact same physics as the PC version, and it feels great on PC. Particularly the force feedback. That's something that I mentioned before already in previous videos. The force feedback feels fantastic. I love that the mirror there is shaking. You know, little things like that just really add to the realism. As you can see, I'm actually putting in clean laps now, so I'm actually getting deltas coming up on the screen, and I am up on this lap at the moment. And yeah, you can see I'm much more confident in the car, getting on the gas nice and early, coming off of that apex, braking just before the curbing down to, I think, second gear. Second gear. Hugging the inside there, trying to get on the gas early. Had to lift a little bit there. I probably could have stayed on it though. Getting a little bit onto that curb at the entrance. Excuse me. A little bit onto that curb at the entrance there of the curb with no name. And that gave me a little bit of a floaty feeling, sort of. Not so much oversteer, and I've completely missed my apex at Pouan and nearly run straight off the course. So not a great Pouan, unfortunately. I think this lap is probably going to be down now. In fact, I think it may have been invalidated, possibly. I do need to spend some more time tweaking this game. Like, I know I can get a lot more information up on the on the HUD. You can get quite a number of things up there. It's very customizable. Is the HUD, and yeah, we can see I'm now down on my previous best. I can almost guarantee, as a result of that understeer through Pouan, lost significant amounts of time through there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. Like I said, it's a little bit more casual, which is a little bit more my speed. It's not as casual as the Codemasters F1 games, though, for example. Yeah, so it's not quite that level of casual, but it is definitely pretty casual. But yeah, at the same time, it's not super casual. You know, there are grip levels. There's you can. It's not like you can't slide. It's not like you have unrealistic amounts of grip in a large quantity. I mean, sometimes it does feel a little bit grippy. I will admit that for sure. But again, I mean, I don't have any reference point, and neither do 99% of the other people that play this game. You know, you can go ahead and talk all you want about how you think an Audi RS or R8 V10 Plus would feel going through Eau Rouge. You know, you can hypothesize about it all you want, but you have no idea. You've never actually driven an Audi R8 V10 Plus through Eau Rouge, and neither have I. So your reference point really isn't there. You don't have anything to base it off of. So it's we're green once again. So this is another good start to a lap. Hopefully I don't mess up Pouan and I can carry this good lap forward. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I hope a lot of people are looking to get it. It's only going to be $50 US. When it comes out at launch. At least that's the pre-sale price or the pre-order price. I'm not sure if that's if that price is permanent or not, but it's I mean, it's cheaper than buying The Crew, for example, and in my opinion is a much better game. I mean, just look how detailed the interior is on this Audi. I mean, it's really fantastic. I don't know how I feel about my yellow, blue, and green sleeves there, though. I was just about to say the gloves match the interior, which is awesome. But then apparently I have these like Brazilian-themed sleeves on my driver. So yeah, from on the wrists and the hands, he's a very professional, serious racing driver. But from the elbows up, he is a Brazilian just having a good time. So we are green through this lap, so this is going to be a new personal best, and you can see I'm not quite fully on the gas through that curve Paul Frere. Because if you carry too much speed, the car's pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy car, which I think is why it doesn't handle super great. I mean, it does have a V10 engine. The engine alone in this thing probably weighs 1,000 pounds, or 500 kilos for you kilo metric users. So yeah, it's a pretty big car. It's not light and nimble, but I figured this was a pretty good track for this type of car, because you really get the chance to open it up coming out of Eau Rouge. You actually get to use 6th gear in this car on this track, which is nice. It's not easy hitting 6th gear though. I'll mention that. I mean, it's like right at the end of the Kemmel Straight where I'm hitting 6th gear. Staying in 2nd gear for La Source, which is the right choice for sure. You can see coming out of there, I very quickly went into 3rd. It feels, yeah. So that's a 239.2. I don't know if that's good or not. Probably not. Again, I'm not the fastest guy in the world. You guys know that at this point. I don't think anybody is here watching for my lap times. Although I would be honored if you were. I really would. Am I in 6th gear yet? I can't tell. That looks like 5th to me. That was 5th. So yeah. Oh, you know what? I forgot to shift. I forgot to shift into 6th. That's why I'm down for that lap. That's why it's red. And that's actually it for this video. Sorry, it kind of stuck up on me there. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you next time with another Project Cars video. I believe it's some sort of BMW race car at Catalunya. I don't know. I don't remember exactly which one, but yep, it's some sort of BMW race car, GT3 car, old school GT3 car, I want to say, and it's going to be at Catalunya. So I'll see you next time.